Yeah, obviously, I mean, good win. You know, that team's not number one in the country on accident. That's a really good ball club, and they're tough. They play hard. They're talented. And man, our guys were up for the occasion tonight. We played a little bit sloppy, kind of really on both sides of the ball early. You know, we kicked the ball around a little bit in the second and kind of gift wrapped a run to them. You know, Zayner was just behind a little bit early and didn't have command or some of the secondary stuff early, and then settled in and was unbelievable. I mean, pitching into the seventh, executing pitches. Matty came in, did his job, and then Oz obviously doing what he does there at the end. So just very well pitched game. And we did enough offensively. I tell these guys all the time, you have no idea when the game is won or lost. It could be in the first, could be in the ninth. We've had some of these in the ninth lately. Today it happened to be in the second, you know, and thought we just kept stringing good at bats together, and then finally Bronny gets the big swing to kind of blow it open and give us the lead, and then it was just a really well-pitched game on both sides really from then on. So proud of our guys, proud of the effort. Now tomorrow it's flush it back to zero. It's emotional, it's fun, but we didn't come here to just win a game. We gotta line up and be able to match it and come back ready to go again tomorrow. So excited for the challenge.
Coach, I mean, the performance against Liam Doyle, he started the year out so strong, but tonight a season high in hits allowed for him, walks allowed, earned runs, and total pitches. Can you speak about, and you too, Justin, like this, the approach against him and the way y'all wanted to attack him early on?
I mean, that guy's elite. We've seen him. We saw him last year at Ole Miss. And they've done a great job with him, because as good as he was last year, he's better. And I mean, he was doing what he was doing last year at 93, 94, and he's doing it now at 97, 98. You know, I mean, he's elite at what he does. He loves his heater, and it is really hard to get above that heater. It's hard to hit it, and it's hard to take it. But man, like, I thought we did a good job kind of knocking him off what he did well. When he started having success later, which he did, he settled in. I mean, just like Zane. He gets jumped in the second, still's out there pitching, gets through six. Like, it's what competitors do, and credit him. We kind of ran him off the heater a little bit, and he started having to pitch backwards a little bit. Doyle hadn't had to pitch backwards all year, and credit him for being able to do that and compete with it. But bronze bat was a perfect example. Like, it's just so hard to get above it, but you could see the conscious effort in that swing to get above the heater, and it was still a laser in the gap. So that was kind of the plan coming in, is try to run him off that, try to push him down as best you can. Knowing we talked about it, man, when you go hunting against big game like that, you're going to get bloodied and bruised a little bit, but it's not about the individual, it's about the collective, and the collective was good enough tonight.
Justin, what was your reaction to Bryce robbing a home run? And Carson, I know you were on the mound for that, but kind of when you're pitching, how does it make it easier when you have guys behind you that can make plays like that?
Yeah, I mean, kind of funny. When he went up and I saw him running back, I had a feeling he was going to rob another one, because this is not the first one he has done this year. So, I mean, my reaction was just priceless. It was really just like, wow, he did it again. And I didn't expect him to do it twice in 1 year.
Yeah, you know, it definitely makes it easier to throw strikes, especially when I think we have the best outfield in the country. So it's a lot easier to throw strikes knowing you got guys like that behind you.
I think it's a perfect example. Like I talked about after the game, Bryce didn't have an awesome game at the plate. Like wasn't awesome tonight, but he changed the game with his defense. It's a one-run game, and he goes up and over to save it. We talk about separating your offense and defense all the time. That's exactly what he did tonight.
Coach, another 5 runs in the second inning today. I mean, it kind of feels like you've scored 100 runs in the second inning this season. Just talk about how important it is to kind of start the game off on a good note.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously makes it a little more comfortable. You know, they kind of threw the first punch, and Zane just got behind and made 3-0 and took a great swing on it, and you're down 2-0 kind of quick right there. And, you know, then they have a really quick top of the segment, and Zane bounced back as a really good top of the second. And it was just really tough at bats that whole inning. I thought we took some good pitches. You know, there's one thing. I mean, I think he walked, 6 tonight, 5 tonight, something like that. But those weren't like, there's walks and then there's like hard-earned walks. There's the walks when you go in there and it's just a spray fest, and those are easy. But, man, I thought we had some really tough ones where we were able to finally take that one up. We took some on the edges with the bases loaded, where that's an easy time to want to execute for your boys. And we've gotten in trouble at times this year being a little bit hyper-aggressive there. And we just kind of took what the game gave us right there and had some really good at-bats to kind of set that up. I mean, they kind of gave us a freebie there with kicking a ball the way we kicked one early, and we took advantage of it. And that's what good teams have to do. If you want to beat a team like that, you're going to have to string some stuff together, and we were fortunate to be able to do that.
Coach, like you said, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but about Zane, noticing just watching the game, after he gave up that loud, towering home run, he didn't really give up any loud contact pretty much after that until the 7th inning. Can you just talk about what you saw from him in his approach and, what you were, I guess you're not talking to him in between, but, what his spirits were like, just kind of getting through that.
Zane's the same dude every day, man. That's what makes Zane Zane. That's why he runs out on Friday night, because it's a slow heartbeat. You know what you're going to get out of him every single time he toes the rubber. And I thought he just got behind to a really dangerous hitter. And it's the first. Late in the game, Fisher's not getting a 3-0 heater right down the shooter. But in the first, you're going to make him move the barrel and hope. Guys miss hit balls all the time. He just didn't miss hit it. He was on time. He's dangerous. And he took a good swing on it, And the beauty of Zane is it's like, all right, on to the next one, And that's what the great ones do. I say it all the time with starting pitching. You've either got to get them early or late, because once they settle in, you saw both guys tonight kind of settle in. They're going to be tough because they get comfortable. They know the strike zone. They know what stuff they have that night, and they're going to be tough. And I thought him and Doyle both settled in and made it really tough on the hitters on both sides. Fortunately, we had a little bit of a cushion there to play with. But that's what makes Zane Zane, man. There's never panic. He doesn't ever get sped up. Just goes out and executes and does his job, and they got him one. Tip your hat and go get the next guy out, and that's what he did.
Will Plattner had another couple hits tonight. Just talk a little bit about that, getting that kind of production from your catcher.
He's one of the toughest humans I've ever met. It's unbelievable. And I mean that. Will Plattner is not the most talented kid I've ever recruited, but I've done this a long time, and I don't know that I've ever coached a tougher kid than him. And he has willed himself into this position. He kind of came in this year, very honestly, kind of as the number 3. We had another catcher go down and just kept showing up and kept working and kept working and kept working. It is now a linchpin of what we're doing. He's tough as nails. He's an awesome teammate. He shows up and he works his tail off every day. And I know this group of dudes in the locker room will play behind Will Plattner, and so to see him having the success to back it up, sometimes you say that about guys that are hitting 120, and it's like, hey, they're really good teammates, but they're not very good. It's great to see him having some success and being rewarded for the countless hours of work that nobody else gets to see, and I love the human. I love the kid. He is a leader of this group, and he is really rose the occasion this spring. It's been fun to watch.
Coach, Tuesday you kind of called on fans to really show up for this team, and you felt that this team really deserved the city kind of and the fan base to be behind them. Right field certainly showed out tonight. I know it's difficult for many on a weeknight. But kind of how did you feel they kind of pushed your team through certain moments of the game?
Yeah, it's always good. It's for these kids. It's not it's great. For me, I'll go play in front of 5 people. It don't matter, but it's a lot more fun to play when it's rowdy, and they were great tonight. They showed up in right field, and it was good. We can do better. We can keep showing up, and that's needs to be the standard of what we do, because that's what it's capable of. The one thing I've learned in my short time in Tuscaloosa and my short time at the University of Alabama is, man, they love winners. They love winners. You see it with what Nate's built over at basketball and the way fans show up and get after it out there, and they're starting to do that with us. They're starting to show up, and they make a difference. They help pull you through in those big spots. They can kind of get some guys sped up. I'll tell you what, in the second, when Doyle was kind of scuffling a little bit, that place was rowdy. It was loud, and that's what it needs to be. That's what home field advantages look like, and it was a good crowd tonight. Whatever it was, 4,000-ish. This place will hold more, so let's pack that thing out tomorrow with more.
Coach, with the 2-run homer in the first and then multiple errors in the second, how are you guys able to keep your cool after that? Flip the momentum and not let the game get away from you early?
Yeah, we talk about all the time. You just got to get to neutral. That's kind of the mind. We've talked about that in the fall. You just got to go back to the facts of hey, we kicked 2 balls. They should score a run right there. They're good. They did. Us freaking out and panicking and coaches panicking and players getting tired, that ain't going to change it. Bottom line is we didn't play great defense in the second inning, and they got a run on it. And it's all right, let's turn the page. We're down 3-0. It's time to go to work. And that's kind of the mentality with these guys. It's it takes maturity to do that. And we've got a group of guys that are just incredibly mature in their approach. And that doesn't guarantee success. That's the thing I stress them all the time. You're not guaranteed anything in this game. But when your mindset's right and you show up and you're present, you give yourself a fighting chance. And I thought we were present. We kicked 2 balls, they scored a run. It's like, all right, back to work, and did what we needed to do. And I didn't think we flinched after that, which is a sign of a really mature team.
Couple more.
How's Garrett Staten been progressing? I noticed he was listed as available on the availability report tonight. Kind of how's he been progressing since surgery, and if you have a timeline, maybe what's the timetable?
Yeah, I mean, he's available this weekend. So he's available this weekend. He took live at bats yesterday, hit a laser to right, hit a pump to left, and I said, all right, that's all I need to see. Let's rock. So he will be available. We'll see kind of what the role is. Like, he will probably be more available on the offensive side before he's available on the defensive side, just because, again, it was his index finger on his throwing hand. So still coming back, getting used, it sounds silly, but getting used to throwing the ball again, that's going to be a big thing for him. So, but he's available this weekend in a lot of capacities, and I told him, I said, we're going to be very smart with you. But we were looking at right there, if we needed him there at the end and it was a tough matchup with Lloyd, he was ready to hit. So he's available, he's ready to go, and hopefully as he gets a little bit further out, it'll kind of become a complete thing where the defense will be able to line up too. But yeah, he's on the roster this weekend, ready to go.
Coach, you keep talking about, you keep talking about like slowing the heartbeat, staying neutral, stuff like that. And I'm thinking of, whether it's Ozmer's strikeout in the 8th, or, LeBron's unassisted double play, or Fowler robbing the home run, or Plattner throwing out the steal, base runner in the 9th, like catching the guy stealing. Can you just talk about your teams just approaching high leverage? Because it seems like every single game, just the teams comes through in high leverage situations, and just how y'all have approached that this season.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes, man, is the Man in the Arena quote by Teddy Roosevelt. I've shared that with these guys. We've talked about it. It hangs in my office. And it's a man that the credit belongs to the dude that's actually out there, that's unafraid to crash and burn, that is willing to put himself out there in the best, knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at his worst, at least he fails daring greatly. Like, that's kind of who we are. Like, we're going to be present and send it. And we're playing a brand of baseball right now where it's worked a lot of times. At some point, it's not. At some point, they're going to be present, they're going to send it, and that guy's going to be safe at second. We're going to be present in Braun's ball, they're going to get the right read, and it's not a double play. The result doesn't matter. I want them present and hooked in, and that's what they've done. That's who they are, and I think that's what's fun, because I want them to play with emotion, right? Like, I don't want robots. Robots are not fun to coach. Robots lose. Like, that's not what we want. I want emotion. I don't want us to be emotional, and I think our guys have walked that line really well. Like, Oz comes after the mound after the big punch, and there's some emotion after that, right? I want that. But then it's sit in the dugout, refocus. I got 3 more big outs to get, and it's what he did. Very mature in those situations. We throw him out at second base. I look, Luke Vaughn, who's our catcher that's hurt right now, he's so excited. He's almost in the field of play. We're having to pull him back in. I love that. I want that emotion. It's what college baseball is. But we've done a good job of not crossing that line, because I think when you get emotional, you get out of control. And when you're out of control, this game's not meant to be played that way. So kids have done a great job of walking that line. I just love them, man. So fun to be around them every day. I told them when the spring started, here's the keys, man. Go take us for a ride, and that's what they're doing.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.